Welcome everybody to another show of the Three Count. Right now, at the moment, it's the Three Count. Jaquan and Benny and myself, Paulinho, live here with you. Review of Vengeance Day, fellas. Again, NXT did it. Hell of a show. Hell of a show. Hell of a show.
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day, stuck to the TV watching. Sorry. It's tough to on what match to start off because they were all good. So you're like, let's start off with, I would say
Let's just go in
the.
order. Let's
You
just
want to
go
go?
in
You
I
want
was
to
order.
go
about
in
to say
order?
you want to start in order. You want to start with the elephant in the room.
No, no, no. Let's go in order because the elephant in the room is the last part. So let's leave it there. That's going to be the biggest rant ever, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the first match of the night, which was the women's final of the Dusty Classic. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defeat Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart to win it. It was a heck of a match. Like always, the first match is always setting the tone for NXT.
hmm
Golly, the spots is ridiculous, and the way the girls worked with Raquel, it was so good,
I
so good.
think I think Beth Phoenix kind of said it best. Like the women are on another level right now, and it's we're finally getting to the point where even though a lot of people believe that the women's revolution and evolution was a a ploy, a marketing ploy, and in a lot of ways it was, it also forced WWE to open their minds and give women the opportunity to actually wrestle. And this to me is really where that work is starting to manifest itself, because you want to talk about a banger. That was an absolute banger. Like from ring psychology to high spots to low spots to the time they were given to the story that they told, like to even the result. Like you can't sit here and be mad at the result, because like I said before, either group coming out of this game, they were gonna be in a good spot. Like everybody has a story somehow, some way. But even though this one I got wrong, I believe,
We all
according
got
to
it
our
wrong.
predictions,
We all got it wrong.
I remember definitely saying it. Don't be surprised if they go the other way, because of just how much they physically match up, and how much it would make more sense for Raquel to be a tag team champion, because Raquel works better with smaller opponents, whereas Nia Jax just doesn't. She right now she's just not there. Like she's not. Maybe she's not as talented. Maybe she just doesn't know how to operate with smaller talent. But whatever it is, women like Bianca, women like Rhea, women like Raquel, they have it. I don't know what it is, but they have it, and they can work with anybody of any size, and they can put on the quality of match that makes championship reputations grow.
It's
So
because
like
they're safe to work with. Something that Naya is not,
it's not even
unfortunately.
just safety. Like I think that again, that narrative is definitely overplayed, I think, but I think it has a lot to do with skill set. It has a lot to do with offensive and defensive repertoires. It has a lot to do with athleticism. Like Raquel can take bumps that Nia just can't take. Like Raquel can do moves physically that Nia just can't do. Raquel has the type of speed that makes other other people look good and makes her look way more destructive. So she works better with a larger variety of body types than Nia does. Whereas this matchup, like you look at Shotzi, you look at Ember, it would have looked really, really, really bad for Nia to somehow outright lose to Shotzi and Ember, because physically it just doesn't look right. And I can't help, my shadow hand is doing a lot right now. Um, but Raquel, on the other hand, Raquel is a believable person that can actually knock off Nia clean. and then you go with the Dakota Shayna Baszler thing, where Shayna's already starting it. Like, not even 5 minutes after the win, she started posting gifs about how she used to punk Dakota in NXT. So I'm like, this one, if they do it right and they save it for the right event, it's going to be an absolute show. So I really can't wait. But there was no going wrong with this one, honestly. Like, this is one I'm kind of happy I got wrong, personally.
When we were going through the picks and everything like that, I think each and every last one of us actually forgot this point, and it should have been obvious. The Dusty Classic for the women granted the winners a title shot. It doesn't grant them the next one.
Right.
Because there's already a number one contender, and that's Lana and Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there should have basically canceled out all of us thinking heel versus heel or face versus heel, whatever it was that was going to be the matchup for it. And should have just defaulted back to Raquel Gonzalez is going to kill everyone. So I am going to say that, just like I said at the Royal Rumble, for the love of God, Shotzi, please stop trying to kill yourself. Because she almost did the same damn thing Charlotte did at the Royal Rumble, where she almost went head first into the damn announce table.
Well, it wasn't just her; it was multiple women that did it this match.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I can't just.
No,
I'm talking on the dive.
Right.
I'm just talking on the dive.
Yeah,
Ember did the same thing.
Here's the thing. My problem is I think they need to move that table further back. It's not like you have.
I don't think they have the room to do it.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Well, again,
remember,
it's one of those.
The fans.
You can't shoot out like a rocket on that side. Like, you can do it on the other side, but then you run the risk of getting Scorpion the way Carmella did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is more of like you got to have way more athleticism and more, when you go through the rope, kind of shoot up, where you get that kind of like that Kofi Kingston effect, where it looks like you're almost hovering in the air and then you hit the person.
Mm-hmm.
This one, they keep going like straight nosedive and just hope the person's there to stop the momentum.
Yeah, I'm just like, I am. Every time I see somebody pull a spot like that on that side, I start to tense up, because I'm just like, I'm not trying to wish it, but the pessimist in me is just it sees it happening, and I really don't want it to actually happen.
No, I hear you. I felt the same way. I was like, oh God, no, please no.
But we had ourselves a card. Like, there was not a single bad match on this entire card.
Nope. Nope.
This one started it off like every other NXT. It was I swear, if there was any event over the last 6-7 months, aside from War Games, that needed a crowd, it was tonight.
Yeah.
It was tonight. Yeah. Oh, not tonight. I'm sorry. It was last night. I'm sitting up here, and you have Raquel Gonzalez out there looking like an absolute killer. And it was to the point where she was selling, but she wasn't selling long enough for, stuff to sit up there and actually, it was in between that point where she was actually like legitimately hurt and Charlotte selling. Whereas it's immediate response.
Yeah, it's a nice sweet spot.
Yeah, she took a drop kick or something into the steps, and she sold it for a second, and then she was back up and then back on the attack or whatever. And at the very least, they didn't sit up there and make her absolutely 1,000% unbeatable, because Ember had a visual pin on her.
Right.
She hit her with the Eclipse. She had her for the pin, and Dakota came in, and she was, distracting the ref and everything like that. But there's also this other thing that's going on where Dakota is absolutely being carried, or is being portrayed as she is absolutely being carried. So you have the setup for some dissension between the two of them already. Now, just from an in-ring standpoint, this match was amazing. This match was absolutely amazing. I have very, very few complaints about this match. It's just the fact that, people almost died in the middle of it.
Twice.
Yeah. Just people almost died in the middle of it, and it wasn't in front of a crowd. That was literally it. That was literally, and that has nothing to do with anything they did wrong. Oh, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
this
goodness.
one, this
did
one
you
needed a.
guys did you guys peep the entrance, My Bloody Valentine entrance?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I caught it after. I actually caught it after because I couldn't get a real clear visual behind all the smoke, so I couldn't really see what they were wearing all that
Yeah,
much. And then the cameras were a little funky in the entrance, but I saw the Instagram still of it, and I was like, oh, this is dope.
yeah.
This is
I
dope.
like them as a team. I really do.
I do, but I don't because they have so much potential individually
Right.
that it's like yes, the chemistry's there, but the chemistry also limits them to where they could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what they did with Cesaro and Sheamus. Like yes, they were great as the bar, but their limits were always capped. And it's like it's a placeholder, but I think too it's a setup for some kind of friendly comp later because I feel like they're gonna end up having to have a banger for a number one contender spot down the line.
Mhm.
Because Ember's yet to have a match, and Shotzi I think has lost twice clean to EO. I want to say
I don't
I
remember.
know it's
I
at
can't remember.
minimum once. I know at minimum it's once.
Mhm.
But I think the rest may have been Candace interferences. So there's that little bit of you know they're both very much viable contenders.
Mhm.
So there's that weird little in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a heck of a way to start the show last night, and then you go to the Gargano versus Kushida, which to me was one of my favorite
Woo,
matches. Not the best match,
woo.
but one of my favorite ones. Golly.
This one was for the wrestling purist. Like this was a
Mm-hmm.
wrestling clinic to a
Yes.
point where you have not seen that type of ring psychology, uh that type of work, that type of groundwork, that type of technical prowess since like
Reversals.
not even just reversals, just the intricate prowess of the focus on different limbs, the psychology, the descent, like the ebbs and flows of just a wrestling match. You haven't seen really since Johnny wrestled Champa before it got to like the real nitty gritty. Um, Before it got to the real nitty gritty, like Fight Club kind of situation. But this was just one of those matches where if you ever wanted to learn about wrestling, just wrestling as a pure art and as a sport, this is one of the matches that you put in like a highlight reel
Mm-hmm.
because it
Mhm.
was just technically that good.
Benny.
Um, I would say that when it comes to as far as I go, I remember I was saying last night I was having a hard time deciding which one was match of the night. Um, the night ended up it being between this match and Balor Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we get to Balor Dunn, I'll explain my feelings on that one. But this one is the one that actually tipped the scale for me because of the fact that it spoke more to wrestling back when I originally started watching wrestling, like in between your golden era and your new generation era, where you had guys like Bret Hart that were out there just hitting their stride. These two did so much work when it came to focusing on limbs and move transitions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting up there like legitimately in awe for half of the stuff that they were doing. Like, yeah, of course I've been watching Johnny Gargano for years. Kushida, I don't have that much experience with, but the stuff that he was doing was just like, dude, am I legitimately watching another Kurt Angle in here?
Yeah, yeah,
Insane. Like the stuff that
yeah.
he was doing, he's like transitioning from suplexes into arm bars. Like, like this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I said, it sat up there and it spoke to it piqued every single little interest that I had because it had its technical spots, it had its submissions, it had its near falls, It had its, it had its hard hitting stuff. Hell, it had like the whole fight aspect to it. At the end of it, I thought that he was about to kick Johnny Gargano's arm off when he did that sprint down the ramp and
Mm-hmm.
everything like this. So it had everything with it. And the only thing, and I hate doing this or whatever, the only thing that really pissed me off about this match is that somebody had to lose.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of it is, it's the what's next question. Like Johnny
Yeah.
is not that hard to figure out because it's obvious um the Dexter Loomis is next. And Dexter Loomis was always planned to be the next North American champion after Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny's just had an extended reign because Dexter Loomis was hurt, which
Mm-hmm.
again is fine. It's definitely paying off Johnny for a lot of the work that he's done in the past. Um, but here's my only thing, and this may be the one time that I wanted a faux finish, or I wanted something else after. I wanted the fact that Austin Theory was missing. I wanted there to be either he turned on the Garganos and was like, I'm going after the North American title, even though that may have been a little premature right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would have wanted him to go after Kushida so that at least you know what's next for Kushida. But to see the level of respect that these two guys have for each other, I don't think anybody really looked like nobody looks bad coming out of this match. Like
Right.
Kushida got built extremely strongly. And Johnny, honestly, this was one of his better title defenses. So I think it's a win-win. It's just a matter of, for Kushida, like, what's next? Like, this was one, to me, this was like a crowning achievement for, like, all the reason why he came from Japan was to have matches like these. But yeah, maybe it is 205. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Kushida as cruiserweight champion, even though a lot of people would see that as a demotion.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing it because at this point, I think Santos Escobar has kind of run its course, and unless they're going to do a champion versus champion match, like there's no one else left for him to beat. So
They're going to have to do something with that because I don't think it's Jordan Devlin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the other champion. If he's over in the UK, they're not going to let him out.
No, because they're still in quarantine.
Yeah, they went into another quarantine. I like this match, and this match I loved it because of the transitions. And like I said before, you don't see much of transitions anymore unless you get a wrestler like Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Kushida. Guys like that, you'll see transitions because they'll work it in. They'll work with the guys. It doesn't matter if it's another one like them or somebody else. That they'll work the transitions over. And I like seeing transitions. It adds another element to the show. You know, not taking away from the guys that don't know how to do it, but it's just to me it adds it more. Because you're adding more athleticism, more of a show to it.
This
I got
really
you
makes me want to see
this
makes me want to see a Kushida versus Chad Gable match like badly.
Oh yeah.
Like that would just be like I wish you can find someone to put with Kushida and restart the time splitters because I think Kushida in the tag division on the main roster would be would be something special because you have like actual wrestlers for him to wrestle with in Dolph Ziggler, who's an all-state wrestler, Angelo Dawkins, who is an all-state wrestler, Xavier Woods, who is an all-state wrestler. Like you have
people
all these
forget
guys
that too.
have, like people forget like these guys are actual like have amateur wrestling backgrounds, and like these are the type of guys that you really want to see a guy like Kushida physically match up with, but then also from a wrestling standpoint, like it would just be sick. But I couldn't even begin to estimate how they could even put him with someone and restart his tag team, the Time Splitters, because I think the guy that was originally with him, he got released. So, I don't know, but I think that going forward, that is probably the best way to use Kushida, unfortunately, because I don't see Kushida as he doesn't have a high ceiling as a singles competitor in this company. Maybe he'll get an Intercontinental title, but with the way WWE is building their mid card titles, his size doesn't fit.
Right.
Like you need to be at least like the smallest you can get at this point is Sami Zayn, who's like 212, and Kushida's never going to be a 212 kind of guy. So unfortunately, I think his cap might be the tag division, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because, as we saw with the New Day, like if you find your rhythm and you find your people, like the tag division can be magical. The same thing with the Usos, who are at this point almost basically all-time greats.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like Street Profits, who both guys to me have a really good future going forward, but like they need more legitimate tag teams who not only can wrestle, but tag teams who have the quality of wrestler to put on great matches and can mesh with different styles. So I mean, maybe going forward, you try to get Kushida in a tag team that works for him, or because at this point, I think maybe he goes after the North American title again, maybe he doesn't. But I don't see him doing much else in NXT personally. And that's not a knock on him. I just feel like he's kind of reached his point of if you're not going to put a title on him, like he's reached his capacity to what you can do with him in NXT.
I'm a little worried about that though.
Yeah.
I am too.
I'm a little worried about that specifically for the fact that I don't want him to head up to the main roster and have Vince look at him and say, "All right, team him up with Shinsuke Nakamura and call him Kai and Tai 2."
Yeah.
Even if they don't, just it's still going to be an issue. They'll probably push him over 205 Live before they put him on the main roster.
Maybe because I mean they're developing a lot of their tag teams over there anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, Vince never does well with Japanese wrestlers. Doesn't matter if they're male or female. We know that. We've seen that. He has not done well with them, and I think it's a fact because of the fact that in Japan they don't use the gimmick like Vince does that much over here, or as heavy. So when they come here, it's like trying to teach a 30, 40-year-old how to do a gimmick, and they're like, I know how to wrestle. That's it. Just tell me what spots to hit, how we're gonna do it. I'll do it. But doing this gimmick.
But again, that's why you have to find the right person to put him with, because if he's not the gimmick guy and he's the wrestler, you put him with a gimmick guy that can really lean into the Back to the Future time splitters thing. Like you kind of have to find the yin to his yang for like, yeah, in a lot of ways. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the direction I see them going in with him. Either that or he's just going to be sitting there doing nothing.
And I don't think any of us want to see that.
Exactly. No. And like the absolute worst case I can see them doing is putting him with Xia Li and that other guy in that faction. Because, but again, that's the only, like, there's nowhere else to put him. Like, you can't.
Not even from the same Asian country.
I get.
Yeah, but we're talking about Vince. We're talking about Vince.
We're talking about Vince, and we're talking about the fact that, like, like, there's nowhere for Kushida to go outside of 205 Live. But even if you get 205 Live, the beauty of Santos Escobar is he can work with anybody because he's great on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to put the title on Kushida because Kushida is not that he's not good on the mic. It's just for the purposes of continuing the momentum of this title, he would need a mic. He would need someone there. Like you said, he would need like a Doc Brown, like a really weird, quirky character to handle the mic duties of building him as a champion. And that's kind of with his gimmick, that's hard to find because there isn't someone who has this outlandish personality that also fits the gimmick of a Doc Brown or another time splitter or something like that.
I'll tell you one thing though.
There isn't a guy or a girl for that matter at this point.
Not at the moment. I'll
But
tell you one thing though, if you put that belt on him, you're probably going to end up with another Buddy Murphy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Here's the other
which
thing.
again
I like
isn't
what they did with
necessarily a
Austin
bad
Theory.
thing.
No,
Yeah,
that I meant that as a good thing.
yeah. It's a good thing
It's just,
because I mean, Buddy Murphy put that title on the map, not for nothing,
mhm.
but he
Yeah,
did, and he doesn't get the recognition for that. But going back to the
Especially after
entrance,
the Enzo.
yeah,
yeah.
going back
Hey,
to
hey! Whoa! Let's not dump on Enzo right now. It's not like Enzo didn't put this title in the main event
I'm
multiple
just
times and
saying.
actually make the
but
title relevant. He
Enzo's
I'm
more
I'm just
he
saying
made it
Enzo was
relevant.
more gimmick than wrestler.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
So
okay. I
put
you
was
it.
ended
saying,
up
let's
with a
not disrespect
situation
Enzo
Yeah,
where
right now. Like Enzo was one of the top 5 gimmicks in the company at that point.
his mic skills, like
He was
give him
killing
credit.
it.
His mic skills
His
are
mic skills
top
are
notch.
pristine.
Yeah,
And the funny thing is he's literally like the type of guy that I'm talking about that you would put with a Kushida
but you
instead
have
of
to
having him
tone him
doing that
down a little
whole
bit.
how you doing. No, you don't have to tone him down. You just give him a different direction. You give him the like. You remember how crazy and wacky Doc Brown was
Hmm.
in Back to the Future. Like
Hmm.
he has the hair. You give him that gimmick and be like, listen, I need you to be as close to this guy as possible, but I also need you to be you and have him find that medium. And you know what? And just have Kushida be like almost like a hitman or that fun, quirky, like the yin to his yang, where he does most of the wrestling, and then Enzo does like the hot tags and stuff, or takes most of the beating. Because one thing Enzo could do was sell. He could sell the hell out of anything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
at least you could do that.
you have him be the guy to take most of the offense and do most of the talking, and you have Kushida be the linchpin to that tag team.
But I really
Like
don't want
he's
that
exactly the
because
kind of guy I'm talking
I
about.
really don't want that because of the fact that then you're pretty much begging for that group to split up at sooner at one point or another. At that, if you keep doing that too much, you know what I mean?
Well,
No,
this is
I get what you
WWE.
mean.
You're asking for every tag team to split up eventually.
Well, yeah, but there's some that you shouldn't. Like Legion of Doom never split up. Demolition never split up. Heart Foundation,
They split up.
they split up, but not the way like we're used to, where they're like fighting. It was just like Vince just plucked Bret Hart out of there and pushed him by himself because he still
No, they
wore.
split
He's
up. There was a match between Owen and Brett. There was a whole rivalry
no,
between
I'm
them.
talking about Neidhart, not Owen.
Oh,
The original Heart Foundation.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the original Heart Foundation. Who else was there? Uh, the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express. I'm going back. Wow.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
how far
mean?
back you got to go to find those type of tag teams, though.
Yeah. So it's like it can be
I
it can
mean,
be
you
done,
can look at
but
it too.
the thing is
Too
nowadays,
Cool was another really good
Well,
yeah, you are
tag
right.
team
here's
But
the thing. 'Cause I
that kind of
understand what Paul is saying. It happened. The problem is what you got to what they have to do is they actually have to put a focus and a care on the tag team division that just isn't there right now.
that's what I was gonna go with. Is that if
Because
there is no care for it now, so it's like you put somebody in like you had Cesaro and Nakamura. Okay, you got them together temporarily. It's placeholder. They're gonna break up, just like the bar. Same
yeah,
thing.
that's how I was about to bring it up with the bar. Look at a couple of years ago. Like literally just a couple of years ago, you had the Usos, you had New Day, you had the bar. All these
Bludgeon
crazy
Brothers.
combinations into the Bludgeon Brothers. All of these teams going after the tag team titles, and you had a tag team scene. Now all of a sudden, it's just you have two tag team championship teams, and there's nobody to defend the belts against.
Yeah, cause that's the problem when you meld two wrestlers together, two singles wrestlers into a tag team, is it's just a band aid. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
mhm.
just a band aid. You know, when you have a tag team that are really a tag team like the Street Profits, New Day, um, Revival when they were back there, and others, they're tag teams. They're not meant to be split. Everybody keeps
Right.
asking for the New Day to be split, but there's no reason to split them. Just like the Four
I ain't
Horsemen,
asking for them to be
the
split.
Four Horsemen were together, but they were never be split. They'll kick a member out, but you have the core members: Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. That fourth one was always like a mystery person that came in and out. Lex Luger, Barry Windham. Who else came in? Mike. I forgot what's his name, Steve Mongo McMichael, there it is.
Oh God.
And yeah, there's a bunch of them. So I'm saying, like, I remember all these people, Chris Benoit, a bunch of people that were rotated on that fourth spot, but you had the three core members always, and that's why we always say, like, they need a faction. You can do something like that with, like, the Four Horsemen did. Like, you have three core members, and the fourth one is rotated. I mean, Paul Romo was in there too at one point. Golly,
Hell,
my
Mr.
gosh.
Perfect was in there for a minute.
Yeah, but you see what I mean, though?
He's been
It's
there
like,
for like a second though.
yeah, but still, though, it's like, you see, but you understand what I'm saying, though. You can do it with a faction where you can have three people that they're core members, and the fourth one just gets rotated. Oh, we don't got something for him. We'll put him in that faction real quick. Get the name up, because the name held a name, so it was used to build a name for that one wrestler. I mean, I think Sting was in it for a moment too as well. But the problem with the tag team division is there's no faith in it. They'll put a tag team just to give somebody a title run, or somebody for the Street Profits or New Day to face, and then next thing you know is we're waiting for that team to break up.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst case is they're doing the same thing with the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way more glaring in the women's division though, because they do it like immediately, like they did with the Iconics. They split the Iconics up and immediately took Peyton Royce and put her into another tag team. Why?
Because remember, they forgot she was supposed to get
They
the push.
literally forgot that she was on the
And
roster.
yeah, and then Vince like completely forgot about it. I'm like, dude, how do you forget about the woman you literally took out of a tag team so you could give her a push, and you forgot about her?
Not only that, he took her out of a tag team and decided that he was willing to be high on her and push her because of the fact that he saw her in one of those bodybuilding competitions, which sparked his interest because of his own interests. So I don't know. I'm not in that position. I can't sit up there, and I'm also not 80 years old. So
and that's the worst thing, because of the fact that it's like, okay, so that just tells me you have no idea who you have on your roster.
Yeah, he got lost in the vortex again.
No.
Hello? Hello?
All right, well, anyway, I would like to see Kushida go up again.
Okay,
he's back.
So yeah, sorry, the laptop is linked with my phone, so it's like when the phone rings, it rings on the phone. But yeah, so what I'll say is that should say something to you, because of the fact that he did not know Peyton Royce was on his roster until he saw her like on one of those bodybuilding shows or magazines or whatever you said. It tells you something. He has no idea who he really has on his roster.
Nope.
And then people wonder, is he could still do it. Like, can he really? You had no idea she was on your roster. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. But let's keep going. Next match was MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans.
I called it.
What a match.
What a phenomenal match, though. Like,
what
wow.
A
wow.
match.
Wow. I don't know. I mean,
what do you mean you don't know? What do you not know about? Please explain yourself.
I'm wondering what would have happened if they had the third member of MSK on here. It's like, again, you got two, so it's like, golly, what happened? I gotta figure out what happened with that third member. Why did he sign with WWE? I can't remember.
Why didn't he sign with WWE?
Yeah,
he probably just, again, it was one of those situations where he probably was good where he was. He was comfortable where he was, and he knew, and he didn't, because again, with a team like that, with the way that they are, eventually if Vince gets a hold of them and he sees them for what they are, they're going to get grounded. So they're never going to get the push. Versus in NXT, and again, going in as a faction versus going in as a tag team are two very different things, because with Undisputed Era, when they were a faction, it was a tag team and a singles competitor. There was, with those guys, there was never a guy that you could look at and be like, no, he's the center point and the other guys are the tag team. They were more like the Rock and Roll Express, where it was the round robin thing. I mean, not the Rock and Roll Express.
Fabulous Freebirds.
Fabulous Freebirds, excuse me.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the guy stayed at Impact.
Yeah, he stayed at Impact.
He stayed at Impact. So I'm like, okay.
I don't even know why are we, why wonder? Like, I just look at MSK for what they are, because again, I didn't know them when they were the Rascals. I heard murmurs in the void, obviously, but I didn't know them when they were the Rascals. I'm sure
Yeah,
they had great chemistry, but doesn't Impact have like a 6-man tag championship or division or something like
the
that?
trios version. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
I know
I believe so.
one of those companies had it. So like
Yeah,
they were equipped to handle 3 because there was a 3-man championship
yeah.
situation.
I know Lucha Underground had it.
Yeah. So I mean, here having unless you have someone like the New Day where they're willing to sacrifice and guys are willing to almost put their individual success on hold in a lot of ways in order to build the faction in and of itself. Factions don't necessarily work when there is no central point guy. Because again, even if they did come in as a faction, one, they probably wouldn't be named MSK. That's the first thing. They probably would have tried to keep that the Rascals brand.
Yeah.
Um, and two, would they have been in the Dusty Classic, or would they have had to debut in a different way? Would it have taken longer for them to debut because you have to figure out how to fit in yet another faction? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it actually would have been their detriment if they would have came in as a 3-man crew instead of a 2-man crew, or they would have debuted them as a tag team and then had the other guy go separate and probably be a jobber for a year and a half before they figured out a gimmick or another tag team to put him in.
Unless they
I
were to
don't know.
go
That's
Freebird with them.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. You could have done that because I mean, look at the popularity New Day had. So I
But
mean,
again, when has that worked in NXT? When has that worked in NXT?
we haven't seen him try it though. You know what I'm saying? We can't
If Trips
downplay it.
hasn't tried it, then there's a reason why Trips hasn't tried it.
Well, the thing is too is like you can't just put 3 people together. If the 3 people have chemistry, they got chemistry. So these 3 already have chemistry. So why not try it? But again, like, how are you gonna put
And
that
screw
around?
their careers for them being guinea pigs?
I think they'll be all right, man.
No, they won't. They're not known enough to be okay with them flopping in WWE. They're not okay. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you cannot risk. And I think that's why one of them went back. It's like, okay, who's the stronger tag team here? It's you two. So you two go and be successful. I'll try and build myself so that when I come, I'll be my own guy, and then we can reunite the Rascals down the road. Because having them debut as a 3-man group would have been career suicide, especially in WWE. It would have been career suicide easily.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to be that guy, but like it would not have made sense for them to debut as a 3-man group. The fact that they are a 2-man group and you're getting to learn these 2 guys first makes it so much easier for them to get over, because MSK is easy to like. Like, they're athletic, they're brash, they seem like they're both either one of them is white or both of them are
Oh,
men of color. Like, they're easier to do. It's easier
okay.
to
So
figure out that way.
I'm looking at this article where the other guy Trey Miguel explains why he decided to stay with Impact. So what he was saying is like pretty much is he didn't want to leave he didn't want to go to Orlando. He wanted to stay in Ohio for family reasons. So
I mean, a lot of it has
Where's
to do
wait?
with that. Like,
Where's Impact filming?
it must be
I think it's
must be.
Tennessee, but that I don't think he has to move there. I don't think they're forcing him to
Mm,
move.
Okay.
He's like this is what he said. My oldest brother just had my most recent nephew, and he was born premature because his mother fell ill. So they actually induced her, and he's home now. But he was in isolated care for 2 months, and they named him after my late brother. And it's just like I couldn't imagine moving to fucking Orlando, Florida, a month
Okay.
after this little miracle. You know what I mean?
I get it.
it makes sense.
I
Yeah.
It
get
makes
it.
So
perfect sense.
yeah. So it's not. I don't. Now I understand it, and cool. Who knows how long he signed for Impact? He might just sign like a 1 or 2 year deal until he gets stuff figured out with his family. We don't know yet. So
Mm.
it is what it is. And like you said, he might go to WWE as a singles and then reunite with them later on. But again, back to this match. Golly, the spots, bro.
Banger,
I can't wait till they go to the
banger.
main roster, and I want to see them with the Street Profits,
I
the
no,
Usos.
I don't want. I want to see that, but for one, we have to get the Usos back. That's
Yep.
Oh,
the
they'll be
first
back.
thing.
They'll be back.
I listen, dude. Honestly, as much as I want to have faith in that, I don't, because if this man's been cleared since December, which was what the rumor is, and you still haven't re-debuted him, and you still have how many people sitting in the back and sitting at home, I no longer trust Vince with even his most successful projects.
I think it's all storyline for the whole tribal chief thing. I, it's crazy, but I think it is.
It's if that's the case, it's dumb. It's
You
dumb.
got Heyman there. I'm not accepting that.
Because you got to think about this.
that's
You have
his
to,
Heyman and
fault.
Roman Reigns are
this
controlling that.
this
I'm not.
this is why I say this. Is why I say this. You can only do so much with Roman and Jay right now, and you got to bring John back sooner or later. But if you bring him back too soon, then like you're speeding up the story. So you have to kind of like be careful how you tread with the storyline with both the Usos.
I would say it depends on. To me, it depends
What?
on what the end game is with that story. If you're talking about an eventual breakup, but like as far as like, I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at Jimmy and Jay being together
Sorry,
with
Jimmy.
Heyman, and I'm like, there has to be something, because it's Paul.
Because you have to remember,
Not because of the fact that like it's Vince. Like, I'm not even including him in there because Roman and Paul got pretty much, carte blanche with this.
yeah. So you got to remember this. Jay's gonna have issue with brother Jimmy because of Jimmy, he's now bowing down to Roman. So that's gonna be a beef right there, and that's gonna last some time. That's what I'm saying. You can't have this going on. You have to time it perfectly with this beef between Jimmy and Jay. It's gonna happen. Because he's not going to come in like, oh, hunky dory, we're back together. No, they're going to have problems. But that's what I'm saying. You got to play it right. They might bring them in back at Elimination Chamber, and they might start feuding for Fastlane, and it might end up being a match at Mania. And then like Jimmy loses, and then Jay goes like, now you suffer with me. Now you coming with me. Because Jimmy's probably going to try and pull him out.
At this point, if they fight each other, I'm done with the storyline, because it's stupid.
I think they're going to end up fighting each other anyway.
Well, you think about it. Why is Jay with Roman? Because Jimmy got in the ring and he saved him from getting choked out.
Again,
right?
Stupid.
I get it,
Stupid.
But it's one of those.
It's the Phoenix all over again.
I know, but it's one of those.
It's stupid.
I get you, but it's one of those where it's like, I'm in this predicament because of you. So, I'm gonna beat your ass, whatever, And it comes to a point like, hey, if I beat you, you join me in here, and you suffer with me.
I'm not even at that point right now. Well, the point that I'm at is like Jay is on this Stepford wife type thing, where I'm pretty sure he's indoctrinated at this point. And the way that you would go with that story is to have Jimmy try to break him out, and Jay be the one that actually ends up bringing Jimmy into the fold after they fight.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not on the wave of this is your fault, so I'm gonna fight you. That's not what I'm thinking. Is like Jay is like completely under like Roman's complete control right now, and he and like I said, the whole Stepford wife type thing, or either that or I'm thinking of the wrong thing. It's a syndrome where you basically
Stockholm
syndrome. That right there. I couldn't remember what it was. I believe he's in a Stockholm syndrome type thing, where you start to have build an affinity for your abuser or your captor. That's how I kind of sort of feel that they're doing with this Jey Uso thing, and they either have to break him out, or they're gonna bring Jimmy in, and he's also gonna do that, or he's gonna break them out from the inside. But getting back to MSK. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hold off on praising MSK for 1 second in order to say, my God, that suicide doomsday device that that Grizzly Young Veterans did to Wesley.
I was like, bro, please wiggle your toes. Are you dead? Wiggle your toes, please.
I thought he was dead.
I saw him I saw his leg was like, okay, he's alive. He's good. All right.
I thought he was dead. Now, the last night was the first the first exposure I've had to MSK. Like I've seen little clips and stuff like that, but this as far as live, that was the first exposure that I've had to MSK. The one issue that I see with them already, right from the start, is that Wes Lee is clearly the bigger star between the two of them, or bigger
Mm-hmm.
potential star.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want somebody to catch wind of that, and then you end up with a situation where I see this, I want to push this, and not them. I want him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to end
I,
up being the case. Nash is he's going to get overshadowed by him, especially if Vince
yeah.
closes window.
I mean, but I look at Nash and I look at him as like a Raven type. Like you can see where you can get that crazy like grunge because that dude has a switch too.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw it yesterday. Like he definitely has a switch. And that was the first time I saw that he may have star potential.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that both of them have different elements to play with, but I get what you mean. Like it's clear. It's clear. Because again, Wes reminds me of like Leo Rush, Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has that type of charisma and he has that type of look and he has that type of athleticism. The other guy is athletic, but his look isn't, I guess because maybe he's not as defined physically. Mm-hmm. He looks more of like a regular
he looks more like a regular dude.
Yeah, like who's just athletic. Like he looks like your run-of-the-mill, long-haired, relatively in shape guy in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there is it's sad to say, but yeah, like he doesn't scream star, but again, it's a good and bad problem, I guess.
I think
here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with that is that I'm scared that once they go to the main roster, Vince will say, yeah, Wesley, he's just
exactly,
and then he breaks them up and he does nothing with him.
Exactly,
he kills him like he did Ricochet. That is what I'm scared about because now you got this other guy who's fine as a tag team partner in the tag team division, and you split him up with his tag team partner. Why? Because you want to make the tag team partner a star, but then you figure out you can't because you don't know how to. Because all Vince knows how to do is build guys like Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, big guys like that. You know, if you're not that kind of a build like Rock when he was, or Stone Cold, or Kurt Angle, you ain't going nowhere. Sorry.
No. And if you look at the crazy part about it is, if you look at it, I fell into the trap immediately. And if I fell into the trap last night like I did, Vince gonna fall into it.
Yeah, like I mean,
the first thing I did when I saw him out there in the ring, I was just like, give me Shelton Benjamin from 2008, give me Ricochet, give me him versus Montez Ford.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped into my head was him versus Tez. I'll need it right now.
I mean, look at. I posted up on our Facebook channel, on this day, Eddie Guerrero won the title. If you look at Eddie Guerrero when he won the title, he was ripped compared to when he came in. Because he had that Vince look.
Big.
He had that Vince look, and that's the thing. If you want to be pushed for Vince, you need to have a certain look, and unfortunately, some of these guys can't have that look because, like Ricochet
it's just not
and Lee,
possible for them.
They could put it on, but it's gonna take away a lot from them. You know, so like I like MSK. Keep them with that as a tag team, please. Vince, do not mess them up. This is like a shiny new toy.
Again, Vince is what, 80 something, almost 90.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be that guy, but it's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I already said, Vince is going to kick out at 2 on his own funeral.
But I mean, I think it's more prevalent for it's more prevalent for Triple H to protect them and kind of, because again, Vince is not going to pull a tag team unless like they're super, super over the way the Street Profits were.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of keeping them over, but don't make it so that they're not too over where it grabs the attention of the main, like when main roster guys start tweeting about you and everybody starts talking about you in the back, then we may have an issue.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet. We're not.
And the thing is, and then you have teams like AOP just have a bad luck of just being injury prone when they get to the main roster.
Right.
It sucks for them, but going on to the next
I mean,
match.
even look at Sanity. Sanity is the prime example.
Oh, don't even get me started on Sandy, bro. Oh well, that's one group that did pretty good on NXT, and they were a 3-man group if you don't count Nikki Cross.
Well, she's not a man.
But I do though. That's the thing. I do count
Mm.
Nikki Cross and what titles. I think they won the NXT tag titles, but Eric Young never got pushed. Nikki Cross never got pushed.
No, yeah, of course. That's what I'm
So
saying.
the
Like right
group
there, it's like.
was always empty.
But
That's
even
my
even
point.
even then, when they got to the main roster, like they had a great first night. They had a pop, and then like we never saw them again.
And they fell off the face of the planet.
Yeah. So on to the next match, which is the women's title, which was a damn hell of a match as well.
It was, but it's clear. Unfortunately, I hate to say this because it's not fair to the women involved. This was by far the weakest match. Far and away the weakest match.
It was, however, let me hop in there real quick before you continue. I was talking to Paul before you got on. According to the call with Triple H, the match was slated to have 20 minutes. It only went 12, partially because of the fact that the issue with the announce table was
Right
supposed to be the biggest spot in the entire match, where I believe it was set up for Tony Storm to try and hit Storm Zero outside of the ring, and Mercedes Martinez was supposed to backdrop her through the table, and you were supposed to get a lot more from Mercedes Martinez in that spot. But because of the fact that the table just collapsed for no reason, it cut out a good portion of the match. So that ended up being the detriment of the match.
Right here, we see if you look at the picture, Vic Joseph got up, and at one point I didn't take the screenshot there. He touched the table, just like I don't know, the finger or something, and the top just fell over. And like I was telling Benny, it's like the table is just barely holding up. So when there's a touch, it just drops. So it makes that effect of the breaking the table, announcer's table, much more effective. Even though it's been holding on to like.
I think Io went through the bottom of it earlier in the match. Like there was a part, the front part of it, like she actually went like physically through it at some point, and I'm like, oh, okay, crap. Like that table just had it rough.
Yeah.
Like what's the name? He Wade Barrett tried to cover it up and say that somebody from the MSK Grizzly Young Veterans match had hit the table at some point during the match to try and sell it, to try and say that that's why the table broke or whatever. But I don't know. I guess between the fact that, because you're talking about, a couple of like 3 different people at 3 different levels of experience, one of which does not speak English, or I ain't gonna say doesn't speak English, but doesn't speak perfect English. You don't want to sit up there and try and draw out a complete like whole nother half of the match on the fly.
Right.
So, like I said, they're all professionals or whatever. I can't knock them for that one. I just know what to expect from them.
Yeah, it sucked because it was a good match. It was a good match, and I can't imagine what would have happened.
It was a great match. It's just for me personally, I'm kind of sick of Tony being the one always taking offense. Like I haven't seen Tony really in a match and getting offense since her run in NXT UK.
You know what's crazy?
And I hate that because she is so good at selling, but she also doesn't do a lot of offense.
Toni Storm, if you look at her, is the fundamental opposite of Charlotte Flair. Whereas regardless of whether she's face or heel, she always wrestles, or she takes so much offense, she's almost a sympathetic face in every situation.
Yeah.
And that's a part of my problem with her. I mean, not with her, but the way that they use her. Because yes, she is so good at it, but it's also like I want to see her get over a little bit too. Because I get this match was to get Mercedes Martinez over. I get it.
Oh yeah.
And I think it did it. I think it did its job.
Here's a funny thing. For the card, what it was, this being the weakest one is crazy because it was still a good match.
Oh no, this was definitely like a 3.5, easily.
Right.
But every other match was a 4, 4.5, 4, 7. Like every other match was just so good that it's like, damn. It's not even like I wanted more. It's just like if you have to nitpick, this was obviously the weak point.
Yeah.
But it was still really good. Like it was still entertaining. So there wasn't really a weak point.
When this match is the weak point of it, you know you had a damn good show.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, for
the
sure.
only thing you can really
That's
say
what I'm
about
saying.
it.
For sure.
Yeah. There's not much to go on this one because we all called Mercedes Martinez was there to take the pin. We all said it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was there for. You know, and
again, the only surprise is that she had so much offense and that she looked so dominant and then the thing was too, it wasn't even like a situation where she got hit with a finisher and that was it. It was like she got hit and then her and Tony got hit, so Tony had to end up rolling off, and then it was one of those like collateral damage, in the moment of high spots and emotion of the match, like somebody just hit a quick finisher and that was it.
It's even more than that because she had to take more than that, because if you remember correctly how it went, Tony hit Storm Zero.
Mm-hmm.
She kicked out. Tony went to the top rope. She did, oh my God, the diving headbutt.
Yeah.
And before she was able to get the pin, then Io came off with the moonsault.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, she was a monster, and she was the one that took the pin, but they set it up so that she wasn't taking the pin and looking weak by taking the pin.
Right.
Because she had to take. If you're going to call that diving headbutt a finisher, she took 3 of them back to back.
Right, and not a lot of people kick out of the Storm Zero, which again is my only issue with this match. Is now it's kind of the same issue I had with the main event.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now these people have to come up with a different finisher or something, because now that you have finishers that are getting kicked out of, it takes away the gravity of the finisher.
Yeah, it does. That's what I find annoying. It's like, okay, that's your finisher. You do the finisher, the match is over. There's a whole point why it's called a finisher. If we're kicking out, it's like
I'm all right with a kick out every once in a while in a finisher. What I don't want, and what would really irk me, is if they were to go and turn the Storm Zero into the Attitude Adjustment, where you got to have John Cena hit that move 17 times in the match in order to put somebody away.
Right.
That's the only thing that would irk me.
That match that finisher is hard to pull off. Like it's not an easy finisher to do for the person doing it and the person taking the hit or taking the bump. So I mean, again, I haven't seen her pull it out a lot, and usually people reverse it. So it's like when she pulls it out, like, yeah, the effect is there where like Mercedes kicked out and it's like, oh my gosh, she kicked out of the Storm Zero. But now it's like you don't see Tony wrestle enough against quality opponents to be like, well, she's beating everybody else with it. So this is just a pay-per-view spot. Now it's like, okay, so every time she's in a pay-per-view, even if she hits the Storm Zero, it's not game over. So what is the game over for Tony Storm? That's kind of where I'm at. But maybe it's just because I'm a really big Tony Storm fan and I don't want her luster to get diminished, because that's my fear. Because it's the same thing they did with Rhea, where at some point Rhea was so beatable that it's like I can't go into a match making Rhea my favorite.
Yeah, after Mania last year.
Yeah, yeah.
That whole thing. Tony. That was that. I heard she went into like a depression on that one, and she lost confidence.
She probably still is, because now she's in the back doing what? Now it looks like they moved her up after Royal Rumble. She's doing what?
They did.
Yeah. Now there's no plan. Now she's sitting in the back doing what? Which is like, I get it, because they have to. I think what it is, they have to resolve the situation with
Nia Jax,
with Bianca Belair. No, with Bianca Belair first. They have to figure out who Bianca Belair is going to face first.
They need to resolve the situation between Lacey and Charlotte.
You don't need to do that right now, because you have 2 pay-per-views left for that. You don't need to do that right now.
They need to give her something to do, though. And having her sit in the back is not the way to have that mess go.
Again, you need to have Bianca make the choice, because if Bianca can make the choice, what they should have done is have Bianca call it this week instead of the stupid interruptions, and then have a women's
elimination chamber.
Yeah, for the number 1 contender spot. And that's a part
Yeah.
of the problem. They only have 2 chambers. Both the chambers are championship chambers. And I'm like, that's not how you're supposed to use the chamber, but all right, go off. Because the women having a chamber was pivotal instead of having 2 world championship chambers that don't make any sense. And now the SmackDown one is this BS gimmick of whoever has to do this has to fight Roman right after the chamber. And I'm like, this is stupid. Because now you're wasting a chamber.
Wait. So the gimmick is the winner of the chamber fights Roman right away.
Yes. Yes.
That's stupid. That's
That's what I
completely
said.
stupid.
It's dumb. They completely wasted a chamber. And there are other divisions that need that chamber way more than SmackDown's BS main event roster that they're throwing together. That makes no sense. So, like, again, terrible booking. We're just going to talk about the fact that now we're letting Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns book stuff. It's looking terrible.
And it also plays into the fact of what I was bringing up at the Royal Rumble predictions, that because of the fact that they are producing certain things certain ways, I only have investment in certain people's, and one of them is not Roman Reigns.
No.
Because
or the
regardless of how they are
point.
trying to, regardless of how they're trying to portray this, the way it's coming off to me is that Roman cannot win without help or some type of supreme advantage.
Right.
And I cannot get behind that. I want to like that character. I want to get invested with that
Not
character.
to mention,
but
again,
until he starts going the distance from bell to bell with people without actually getting help from the outside, I can't do it.
Until they fully commit to the gimmick. And I don't give a crap what this dude is talking about. Oh, it has to be the right time. Fans need to be patient. Oh, listen, your gimmick is still the Shield gimmick. Your music is still the Shield music. You don't have the whole family thing because for some odd reason, Jimmy's not back. And until all of that stuff is in place, it's filler. It's all filler. It's all filler and it's all nonsense. Like it's crap. It's crap right now. Honestly, it's crap.
It's crazy.
It's crap. It's okay. You don't want to be the one to say it. I'll go on record. It's crap.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I mean, like, it's just all around, bro. I'm like,
stupid.
It's all around. Like, you can't tell me who has what storyline right now we have that we want to see play through right now. The Roman Reigns was good, and it just hit like a brick wall. And it's like
because they had him. If they never had him attack Jimmy the way that he did after Jimmy won the match, I would have been invested in it. That, again, when he just turned around and started wailing on Jimmy for no reason, and then his excuse was, I have to discipline people to make sure they don't get out of line, I'm done. Bye.
I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's they're trying to go a certain way, but they went about it the wrong way.
Even if that's the case, like what I'm saying is, even if like the way they have this thing set up, even if they had put Jay in a situation where he is a reluctant co-conspirator in this, I would be a lot more invested in it. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't think him losing, the Hell in a Cell match by itself should have just completely flipped Jey Uso over to being a heel and being completely ridiculous with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he was out there, like I said, if he's out there and it's to the point where, all right, Roman is holding his position in the family over his head, and it's just like, all right, I need you to go do X, Y, and Z in this match. And Jay is just like, yo, man, that's not the right way to be going along with it and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then Roman turns around and is just like, yo, listen, I'm the head of the family, man. I'm the one that's at the head of the table. I'm the one that's providing with it. And then he goes out there and he has to do it reluctantly. Then I'm with it. All right. But it's like this dude that turned into like he's turned into like the Joker's lackey right now, mm-hmm. where he's literally, he's there and he's doing it willingly. And that to me is just like, nah. I'm not.
And they killed the whole, like, they still try to push this whole main event Jay and main event Uso. I'm like, he's a jobber now. Sorry, you can't convince me he's main event anymore. Like, he proved that he can be, but he lost all respect.
Let's get back on track here.
Sorry, mm-hmm.
It's all right. It's all right.
But again, this plays back into the women's thing where it's like, that's how I kind of feel like they're kind of doing something similar with Toni Storm, where they flipped her to being heel, but
which
it's
was
the same thing
fine.
with Sasha. Yeah, which is the same thing they did with Sasha, where they flipped her and then they put her in a situation where she can't win. So it takes all the air out of the sails.
Mm-hmm.
So
Although,
I'm like,
like
it's
we
like,
did bring up last night, the fact that she did not take the pin can still play into EO. You can't beat me.
Right, 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 right.
right, right. I'm with you on that one, and that's fine. But again,
It's the fact that Mercedes
it's
kicked out
hard
of
that
Storm Zero. That's what's getting you.
it's the fact that Mercedes kicked out of Storm
Mm-hmm.
Zero, and if you look at the match, Tony did not have a lot of offense
No,
at all. It was Tony taking a lot of
Well, you have to
Mercedes'
remember
bumps.
the she was supposed to put Mercedes through that table, so that's probably where her offense
mm.
was supposed to be at.
Oh wait,
Mm.
Oh,
Mercedes was put
really?
her through the table.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
She was
okay.
supposed to take the bump.
Oh, okay, okay,
That's what I'm
okay, okay.
saying.
You
She's
know the
out here
WWE
taking,
rule: whoever sets up the trap and goes through it.
I forget about that part, but
and that's the thing. If she's supposed to be a heel, then have her bring out a kendo stick. Have her, because it's a triple threat match, so there's no
It means there's no
disqualification.
DQ. Mm-hmm.
I want to see heel type things from her. If she's gonna be a heel, have her be a heel.
mm-hmm.
Like, let her be malicious. Let her do something instead of just Mercedes Martinez being this powerhouse heel and
Yeah.
Io coming in for the save and saving her title last minute. Like, that's my again,
Yeah.
but that's nitpicking. That's nitpicking at this point.
So
Because the match was a great match.
let's go to the elephant in the room, or the match in the last match. This match was an exclamation point to this show. We cannot say enough about this match. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's like it had me up and down, up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that aggravated me last night had nothing to do with the match itself. It was the way that people were responding to it. And it's pretty much because of the fact that everything else in the card was, excuse me, banger from start to finish, banger from start to finish, banger from start to finish, banger from start to finish. And this one started out a little more methodical than the other ones did. If you look at that match last night, as a matter of fact, look at the whole card. You had stuff in there for everybody, as we brought up in the Kushida match. That was a technical masterpiece. This match was an NXT UK match. This match was ugly. It was hard hitting. It was violent. There was a lot of like deliberate, there was a whole lot of deliberately like dramatic stuff that was going on in it. But people, for whatever reason, like, I don't know, maybe they're not used to the NXT UK style of stuff, but they were like really trying to get on this match, talking about, oh yeah, it started out real slow and all this other stuff, but the last 15 minutes were great.
It's the British strong style.
It's a different look. Same thing like the Kushida and Gargano was like a purist, a wrestling purist like dream match. This was like for one of those that likes the British strong style. This is your kind of match. It was a hell of a match. Hell of a match.
Beautiful.
Again, the only issue that I had was that it always felt like Finn was a step ahead of Pete. And I'm like, that's something I didn't like.
Not at the start.
No, at the start, I felt like Finn was always getting over until Pete kind of found, I guess, because it told the story of like, Finn is the more experienced, but then Pete is the type that if he finds a weakness, he'll accentuate it.
Target it, and
you're
done.
And you're done. And that's kind of what you saw. And I guess for me, it was like, oh God, they're making Pete Dunne look soft. And then it took me a minute to realize, like, oh, this is a story that you're trying to tell. This is who Pete Dunne is. That, Pete Dunne may not always be the most experienced, especially because he hasn't. In most cases, he is the most experienced, so he'll always have that tactical advantage. But with Finn, he doesn't have that tactical advantage. So how is he going to kind of work him over? And then you've seen him go after the jaw, go after the elbow, go after the fingers.
And I like the way Finn actually played with the fingers at the end, because if you pay attention, he didn't put his fingers out like he did.
He was
usually
doing a lot of this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, I like
Yeah,
the way
so
he
it's like
kept
you've seen the way
playing it
like
up.
he definitely did distort his fingers a lot, and like the damage was done.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I love the fact that now they have been going back to having an actual finisher and not just like now the coup de grace is almost like a signature, not his
Mm-hmm.
finisher. And the 1916 is his finisher, but it depends on the match because sometimes they flip flop, and that's what I like about Finn is that you never know what he's gonna pull out, but you always know that like you can always feel the big move coming. And the fact that he lost, the fact that he won clean was like, okay, okay, like I get it, but also a part of me was like, damn, what are they gonna do with Pete now? Because, but then it also kind of set up Pat McAfee coming back because now it's like, oh, maybe they can't do it on their own, and then with Pat there is when Pete is at his most deadly.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of they set up multiple stories with the way that it finished. Because now does this put Pete at the back of the line again, or you know is it a situation where now it has to be Pete versus Cole to kind of see who's the next challenger, and then you have to go through the Kyle O'Reilly thing because now you set up a lot of new players where there weren't any players.
I just
So
got
I mean, like,
the
so it's
sickest
it's it's
idea.
interesting. Of course you did, you psycho.
Yes, yes, I completely admit that. Think about all of the major players you have right now in the main NXT title picture.
Mm-hmm.
You have Finn, of course, because he's champion.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole, who just recently reintroduced himself.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle O'Reilly, he's hanging around right now. I don't think he's gonna win it anytime soon, but he's hanging around. He can be a body. Pete
Mm-hmm.
Dunne, Karrion Kross,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking I don't have a sixth person in my mind right now, but give me a
There isn't
sixth
one.
body,
There isn't
and
one
you
right
have
now.
the makeup for a WrestleMania ladder match.
Yeah, because they did say they won an NXT. They won an NXT championship defense at WrestleMania.
Right.
I mean, I prefer it for the Intercontinental title, but I see where your head is. I like it. I like it. I dig it.
I can't disagree. I like it
Um,
as well too.
I
But
like it.
but
It's
here
just my
here's
whole thing with Cross is that I want Cross on the main roster sooner rather than later.
here's the thing. I probably throw in Adam Cole in there because of what happened.
He said Adam
Well,
Cole.
yeah, I
You
named
Oh,
still
him.
need a six body.
sorry, my fault.
You still need a six guy.
I mean, unless you
I
want to throw
mean,
Roderick Strong in there, but then
I was thinking as like
you got a real heavy UE thing going on
You
there.
yeah,
know,
and I don't
yeah,
think that you want that.
no,
Nah.
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Granted, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it's just the fact that it's so much in there. What the heck was going on? So was Kyle O'Reilly trying to get Finn into UE, or was he trying? That's all I was trying to figure
I
out.
think we need to wait till Wednesday for an explanation
Yeah,
because
because
Well,
I
I'm
don't
like
know
I'm
if he was
looking.
trying to. I don't know if he was trying to say this is respect between us and you, or you know we're missing a guy. We could put you in there. I don't know where he was
no,
going
That's
with
what
well,
I'm
that.
I
saying.
think it
I
had a
don't.
lot to do with because he kept pointing at his shirt. He kept
Mm,
doing this
That's what
on
I'm
his shirt,
saying. He
where
kept
he
doing
kept
this.
saying like he was like, you know what? I think what it was that you know what we have a level of respect here, and you're stronger with us than you are against us because at this point you keep getting attacked by multiple people. So I
mm-hmm.
think it's one of those where it's like, listen, bro, we've had your back. Like, come on, bro. Like you need us a lot more now than you do. Like you need to be protected from the pack of wolves. And I think because Kyle O'Reilly has taken more of a vocal role in UE and in the main event,
Mm-hmm.
and he's proven that he's not just a tag team wrestler, it's very much that Triple H Randy Orton dynamic.
Yep.
Here's my thing.
That's what I kind of saw it as.
If you watch the replay again, like I saw it live, if you look at the back, you'll see Adam Cole talking to Roderick Strong. I don't know if you caught
Mm-hmm.
that, but he was talking to him like kind of like what is he doing? What is he doing? Like you could see already he was irked with him before it
Mhm.
happened. So I was like, I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but I caught it last night. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what's going on here? I was like, oh, it's gonna. I didn't think it was gonna happen that like last night. I thought it was like maybe it's gonna be a problem down the road,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then he went. Then he went off. I'm like, golly. I was like, oh shit. I was like, all
Yeah,
right.
that shook me. Like I was sitting there like legitimately just slackjaw for a long time last night because I was just like the entire time I'm sitting up here and the way they were building it leading into war games was that the issue was going to be between Cole and O'Reilly and then Fish and Strong on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a
Yeah,
sudden Fish is missing because I believe he's in Canada, correct? Or
I
something
I'm
like
think
not
that.
so.
sure. I thought he was hurt. I couldn't figure out what was going on with him.
I thought he
I don't
was
know.
in quarantine. I don't know exactly what's
Uh,
happening, but that's gonna be my first guess with anybody disappearing. Um, but now you have this situation where you have Cole turning heel again. Kyle O'Reilly is like the clear face in the entire situation,
Mm-hmm.
and Roderick Strong is caught in the middle, like to the point where he's got one leg outside the ring and trying to figure out which way he should go. Should he go with Adam Cole or should he check on his partner? So it's just like, yo, the way they got this thing set up, it's just like the whole thing. Y'all have seen the meme where the dude is just like, yeah, me. That's me right now.
I think too. Again, we all knew that Yui couldn't last forever, but I think
Mhm.
we've always tried to pick the spots where they would break up. But again, I think the fact that they made Kyle O'Reilly a star,
by
they
accident.
I don't even think it was by accident per se. It was just we're gonna give you this shot. It's the same thing they did with Jey Uso. We're gonna give you this shot and see what happens.
Mhm.
And in doing so, they made him a star. Because all they did was say, Kyle, go. Because again, Triple H has said it multiple times. We know what Kyle is. We've seen Kyle before.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle has the reputation outside of WWE where he is a bona fide star.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no like this came out of nowhere. This isn't out of nowhere. Like they even talked about the history. Like, yo, we've always missed each other, but now we're gonna have this feud. So it's a situation where the fact that Cole did it, it's like we all knew Cole was capable of it. The fact that Cole actually took the step to be like, yo, you know what? I'm tired of this dude too. Bam, super kick. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with playing favorites. I'm done with being friends. It was a very Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty kind of situation, which is what I loved about it. Because now this fully supplants not only Kyle O'Reilly as a solo star, but it reaffirms Adam Cole's viciousness and Adam Cole being like the second coming, almost like of a cerebral assassin, heartbreak kid hybrid.
Mhm.
So like and again, it puts Adam Cole back to being Adam Cole, where it's like, you know what, this was cool, but don't cross me. Like I'm still about me, because again, Adam Cole doing the Dusty Classic was weird to me. Because like Adam Cole's not a tag team guy. Like this doesn't make sense. So for him to do it and then they lose and him not react to it and him keep talking about, oh, we're gonna have like the prophecy and we're gonna be draped in gold and all that other stuff was more so he expected somebody else to do the tag thing and he was gonna get the NXT title. The fact that someone else in the group would have the NXT title, it never fit his character. And the fact that he was behind Kyle, I felt like it's gonna play out where it's like, yeah, I believe in you, but you really thought I was gonna let you have the title? Nah, chill. But that's what I kind of love. Like this makes me even more of an Adam Cole fan
Yeah. Well, the reason why I
because
say
Adam Cole's at his best when he's a heel.
yeah, oh, definitely. Well, the reason why I say that by accident was because I just like Jay, they're like, hey, let's get this match going, just kind of placeholder, and they had no idea like what he could actually do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when he finally did, like, oh crap, you really are good enough to kind of be a main eventer, or you really are good to do this or that. And
Well,
it's
I
like,
think too that may have been they may have been more Finn than it was. backstage, because I think Finn was like, you know what, I want to fight Kyle, because I mean we have history. Like I think Finn was just like, yeah, no, I fought Adam Cole, like I want to fight Kyle, and they're like, all right, we'll see what happens. If anything, it's a placeholder. If more, then it's more,
Yeah, and it's
and
kind of
it
like
just
with
ended up
Jay
being more.
and
Yeah.
Kofi, and it's like and it's what happens when you let wrestlers do their thing and don't put
Mm-hmm.
them in a box like they tend to do. They put on their show, they do what they do. That's why I kind
And I
of get
think Kyle put
annoyed.
on some weight too. I think that was a part of it too.
He might
Kyle
have, because
definitely
he
put on
was
some
only like
muscle.
130 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he looked significantly like bulkier. Like he put on some serious size. So maybe that's a part of it too.
Could be. Other small update: Bobby Fish is injured. He tore tricep back at War Games.
yeah.
They said
I was gonna say
they
that.
tore it completely off the bone.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, bro, he might be done because he's the older of the group. So I mean, he may be done. That might be why they're blowing it up now.
mm.
Like he may be like for sure like done. Because
Well, he
this
did go
dude
through
has
the
had,
surgery, so I don't know if it's a situation where
but
he's just
it's
completely
kind of,
finished. Like, hopefully he comes back. I don't like seeing people go out on injuries and stuff like that. But that's
yeah.
pretty much what it was. Where y'all were talking that, and I was all silent. I'm looking up stuff. So
Yeah, I saw it, but I was trying to find more because I saw that it was just a laceration, like just below the elbow. It was at War Games. Like he got cut on there, but I didn't see anything besides that. That was like on December 11th.
yeah, they
So I'm
said it
trying to
was
find some more information on
it
that
was the
one.
spot somebody stepped on his arm between the two rings or whatever.
Mm,
It was an
it might have
intentional
been Pete
spot, but
Dunne.
he got hurt.
It might have been Pete Dunne. That sounds like a Pete Dunne thing.
Could have been. Pete Dunne is a
Mm,
jerk like that. I'm not complaining though. I am complaining that
nah,
he got hurt, but I'm not complaining about the move.
yeah.
But what
I
a
mean,
match, yo! What a
oh, and
match! What a match!
actually what didn't come into play because we're just not factoring it in, but I think that it definitely can come into play from a story perspective. The six man technically right now is Edge.
It could be if, say, he was to go after it and be the first one to proclaim he was going after it. I don't
And
think he's
again,
stepping into
I
that
don't
by
think
himself.
I don't think he is, but I think that in terms of a story,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of telling that, because again, he said, I'm gonna wait and see how these matches play out.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, he was waiting for NXT. Now he's gonna wait technically till after Elimination Chamber. So like they're still pushing off his decision until like the very last second.
Mm-hmm. Basically, just to build interest, but for the other stuff leading up into WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Although, what I would like to see if that's the case, let them go through the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. The winner's probably going to be either Kevin Owens or Jey Uso, one of the two of them. And just for argument's sake, let's say it's Jey Uso. Roman's going to come out there and tell him to lay down.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out there, he lays down. Roman gets the cover. He's defended his title, and Edge makes his declaration right then and there by spearing the living hell out of Roman Reigns.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'd also love to see something with Christian involved too, since it's more so a two-man group.
Well, I'm actually along the lines with Sean Ross Sapp with this one right there. You know what he's doing. You heard about this? When
No.
Christian was forced to retire,
Oh
he had
yeah, he
just
had.
won. He had just became the number one contender to Big E's Intercontinental Championship. Now
That's what
Christian
I
is
want
back.
to see.
Big E is the Intercontinental Champion again. Let's make it happen.
Yep.
Let's make it happen.
And I think that shouldn't even be like an open challenge. Blah, blah. Like, nah, I want him to come out and say, "You owe me a
I never got
shot.
my title shot. You owe me."
And I want Big E to be like, you know what? Like, you know how Big E is? He's like, okay, I like this. Let's finish this. And like have it be like okay, this is gonna be my crown jewel. Like this is gonna be like this is gonna cement me as the Intercontinental Champion, like the guy. Because he's beaten just about every other outside. Like he can't beat Chris Jericho. So I mean, if you want to look at all-time Intercontinental champions, that he can still face off against. Like there's the Miz and then there's Christian. And we really don't want to see Big E destroy the Miz again. I was
gonna say throw Daniel Bryan in there.
Yeah, but I don't look at DB as an Intercontinental champion.
I know that's why I was just like, let me hold off on that one. It would be a great match.
Unless you want somebody in there to take the pinfall.
No.
Yeah.
To keep Biggie strong and Christian strong, no matter who wins it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna look at keeping Christian strong right now because, again, if he's coming back, he's not coming back for long. And
I would say if they were
I don't care about him being strong.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't want to squash. You don't want to be like he comes back for all this and make a big deal out of it, and then.
I don't think they're gonna squash.
Kushida just lost and lost strong, and that was a clean finish.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Make sure the match is good.
Just make the match is good, but he has to look at least strong.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So if you want to put a third one in there, so neither one of them take a pin, fine, do that.
The only way I would do that, I don't want to see Big E in any kind of triple threat match until they actually take the title off of him. That's how I want them to take the belt off of him. I want them to have the same way EO won the title, have her pin the non-champion in the thing. That's how you end up with a situation where you have to have Big E like, oh man, I lost my Intercontinental Championship, but I'm going after the Universal title now, because it makes no sense at that point.
Right.
I've always hated that. But if, say, he drops that title after a really decent run, or not even really decent, because he's had the belt since the end of December. So you can have him make this run until around SummerSlam season. Then you start to transition him. Yeah, then you start to transition him into the Universal title picture.
Yeah. That's how I do it.
I like it.
That's the only way I can think of doing it.
Seth. Big E Seth.
Yeah.
Big E Seth. There's your Intercontinental Championship match for at what's his name at WrestleMania. Yeah. You can also play off the fact that Big E's the one that took the NXT title off him, although WWE probably doesn't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Well, this show was one of the best ones, and it was a great one.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
An update on the standings for the Pick'ems.
Go to hell, Jay.
I added all the numbers, tallied all of them from WrestleMania 36 last year up to last night's Vengeance Day. I'm in third with 66 points. Benny's in second with 70 points. And up in first place is Jay with 79 points. We only have 3 shows left.
Before
shows
Mania.
left. No, however, 2 shows before Mania.
Right.
If you count Mania, it's 3.
However, Jay, I am sad to inform you will not be getting this title, regardless of whether you win it or not.
Why?
Because we're going to be changing the name, so we got to change the belt.
That's fine, as long as I get a title.
Yeah, just give him that title. Just give him that title. And then
change for the real one.
Yeah, because the thing is, if anybody's is listening right now, we're about to go on our podcast and our shows. And the thing is, I went on today, and there are 4 3-count podcast channels. So, yeah, if you have any tips on what name we should go with, go ahead.
Any ideas, not
any
tips.
Any idea? Sorry, any idea, any comments, any suggestions? Put it in the comments there for us. We'll take a look at it. 3 counts already taken. What else did we look at? 3-man power trip is already taken. So. Any ideas for suggestions for a new name, we'll take it. We'll look at it, and we'll see.
And in the meantime, I'll put a little bit of thought into it, too, see if we can come up with something.
Yeah.
Because Sports Mark got to name everything else in there.
Yeah. Three Amigos was also taken. We were looking at that one, too. I liked it because of the Eddie Guerrero move, so. Thank you again for joining us for another show. And until next time, which is Elimination Chamber, later.
Which is what, Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
Bruh.